You probably have so many questions about how to record great audio. It can be challenging to produce great audio when you're unfamiliar with how sound works. My name is Matty Kenny, and I've been a musician and music producer for over 10 years. I continued producing even while training to become a doctor. Med school forced me to travel around often, so I had to get resourceful to figure out how to record crisp audio anywhere. Let's learn how to capture great audio. I follow a simple 3-step process. Prepare, test, then record. Let's start with prepare. Prepare is a mini checklist I run through before capturing audio. Similar to how surgeons do timeout before operating, we want to make sure everything is in order for a great recording. First, make sure your microphone is plugged into your camera or your laptop or your audio interface if you're using one of those. I can't count how many times in the past I've forgotten to turn on my microphone and had to redo an entire recording session. Next, make sure that your microphone is routed properly to your camera or computer. Double check to see that the input is coming from the correct microphone and not the internal computer or internal camera microphone. You might think that your mic sounds bad when in fact you're just recording with the wrong microphone. So a good way to check is to actually tap the microphone or snap your fingers in front of it, and you'll notice if the signal rises or not. Next is microphone placement. Depending on which type of polar pattern your microphone has, make sure you position it so that your voice will actually transmit signal to that microphone. In general, the closer you can get to the microphone, the better. There are multiple benefits to being closer. First, your voice will sound clearer, and you won't have to speak as loudly or unnaturally. Next, you can turn the preamp or gain of your microphone down so that it captures less of that background hiss or ambient noise in your environment. When setting up your mic placement, I recommend turning the gain of your microphones to be very low, so we can adjust this later in the test phase. If you plan to be really close to your microphone when recording, like doing podcasts or voiceovers, you'll likely get pops and spikes when pronouncing certain syllables. Hard P sounds like power, planet, pour over. These P sounds often release very loud spikes in a recording and can be really annoying to listen to. And there are a couple solutions by just adjusting the microphone placement that can help alleviate this problem. First, you can invest in something called a pop filter, which just sits in front of your microphone and catches and tames those hard P sounds. Another option is to just move the microphone a little bit to the side, maybe 45 degrees, so that the pressure waves of those P sounds don't blast directly into the microphone, but the polar pattern of the microphone still captures your audio. But what if your microphone is far from your mouth because you don't want it in your shot like I have here? Well, it's still best to get that microphone as close to your mouth as possible while still being out of the shot. In the case of me recording right now, my microphone is literally just outside of the frame of the shot. I can tap it right here. If it's gonna be outside of the frame of the shot, the best angle actually is to have your microphone pointed downwards, towards your mouth and to the floor. And this is because we can easily just put a rug or mat on the floor to absorb that sound. Having a microphone pointed upward below the camera, there's a lot more chance it'll reflect off the walls and off the ceilings and cause interference. And finally, if there are background noises that you can't remove from your environment, then try putting them behind your microphone if it's a cardioid shape. This helps reduce interference as much as possible. For example, I use a Godox light to light all my shots from this angle to capture a more cinematic lighting look. But when I turn it on, it has this steady humming hiss noise. So instead of putting my microphone on top of my camera or pointed in a way that's facing the light, I actually have my microphone positioned directly in front of the light, pointed the other way to prevent capturing any noise from it. Before you get into the zone for recording your audio, do a quick test recording. You want to make sure that your input levels are appropriate, you're in the right position for that polar pattern of your microphone, the correct microphone is being recorded, and that there's no hissing or buzzing sound that's present. We definitely don't want to spend an hour filming or recording only to find that a very simple blunder like that ruined the entire session. So sometimes when we do a test recording, we'll notice a robotic buzzing or hissing sound coming from the microphone, and we won't know why. So here are a few common reasons why this could be happening. So first, a cable could be loose. So double check that all your cables are plugged in very well. Second, a cable could be damaged. So switch out your cable and see if that fixes the problem. Third, your USB or XLR port might be damaged. Ports can get damaged too, surprisingly. So try switching to different USB ports on your computer or different XLR ports on your audio interface and see if that resolves the problem. And the last thing is to just restart your computer or your camera. Sometimes the signal gets corrupt somewhere in the audio chain, and a simple reboot solves the issue. So when testing the microphone, we want to give ourselves headroom. What does that mean? Headroom refers to providing enough dynamic range and volume so our voice doesn't clip or distort. Distorted audio sounds absolutely awful, and this is why I recommend turning the preamp or input gain very low. That way, when you test in your recording device, whether that's your camera or a computer, make sure to turn your audio signal display on to visually see the audio levels. And as you test, slowly turn up the preamp until the audio signal hits around minus 12 dB. Hitting minus 12 dB should sit in the green range for most displays. We want to avoid any yellow or red spikes, as that means the audio is distorting or clipping. A general rule of thumb for me is that I want my microphone to hit minus 12 dB when I'm speaking naturally, when I'm speaking comfortably, and I don't have to strain my voice. Next, as you test, move your body around the microphone to figure out the best position to record in. I like to say aloud while I'm testing where I am in relationship to the microphone, so that when I listen to the test recording, I can identify which location is best. So for example, I might do something like this. This is a test. This is a test. I am now on the left side of my microphone. I'm on the left side. I'm moving back to the center of my microphone. Now I'm on the right side of my microphone. That way, when I play back the test recording, I'll know exactly how my microphone sounds from different positions based on that cardioid shape. Only after I get a good test recording will I actually start to record my audio. So let's talk about recording. As you record, here are a few tips to make sure your audio continues to sound great. Try not to move too much to prevent your voice from moving away from the polar pattern of the microphone. Speak comfortably and naturally to sound as authentic as possible, and also make sure you have room in your SD card if you're recording audio directly into your camera. Now, this may seem like a very tedious process, but being systematic and calculated with how we approach recording audio is the best way to prevent mistakes, retakes, and wasting a lot of time. Practice using this checklist every time until it becomes habitual, and you'll have a great recording every single time.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our latest videos.